So today's shoot is using one light. We're going to be outside just for a little bit, inside, and a whole bunch of modifiers just with one light. Just to play, see what you can do, have fun with it. I love a one light setup because I love the simplicity. Now, I originally said, oh, I'm going to use the Sony this time because I used the Leica last time because, I'm trying to use that Sony more just to get used to it. But then, the last minute, it's always, okay, I'm going to grab the Hasselblad. Yeah. And it's always Hasselblad or Leica for me because I just love the way they look and I love the effort versus just pointing in the right direction and pushing the button. I want to preface this by saying the Sony, that A7 IV is a great camera, great lenses. I mean, it really is, a nice piece of gear. But for me, at this point, I really enjoy making the images from, that tough focus to our manual focus to the shitty focus on the Hasselblad. And a lot of times I go right into manual focus with the Hasselblad. I use the 65 and the 40 millimeter lens on the Hasselblad. I used one light only, which is the A2. And I used probably 6 or 7 different modifiers. The model that I shot today is a complete pain in the ass, but I love her to death.
He's a liar. I'm an angel.
Anyway, here's the shoot. I hope you enjoy it. And hopefully we got some good photos out of it. I absolutely love shoots like this where you're just going to play. That's really fun for me. And, we don't get to shoot very often because she's a traveling nurse. So she's gone for months and months and months at a time. So when she can sneak back or comes back, in between different locations, we take advantage of it. That's my setup. I'm using one of the stand loops just to hang the Profoto Click softbox off the stand. And, this gives me, like, right now I have three different modifiers with me that I can use on this. So the first one is, well, it's not really a modifier, it's the actual light, but that frosted lens is technically a modifier. I pumped the light up because I really wanted to see the flash in this. I wanted it to be obvious. Normally I'm shooting where you can't really tell that there's a flash on it, which I love. I just love that natural look. But sometimes you just want to play, have fun, and, get it a little bit more dramatic, which I completely understand. Now, turning day into night is not my thing, but I can see there's, times where you just want to have fun and play and create that kind of image. So I have no issue with it. Anyway, so this is the bare flash with no modifier. If you don't want to call the frosted lens a modifier, that's fair. So the next thing I'm going to do is pull out the Fresnel. Now they have this new Fresnel that clicks on the front of this that I really, really like. I was going back and forth in between the Fresnel and they have the a small magnetic magnum modifier that goes on here. I just love this look. Anyway, so I was going back and forth with that and, looking at the output of it. And I thought, this Fresnel is giving me the same type of output as that Magnum, and it's a lot smaller. That last one was with the Fresnel, by the way. I apologize. I'm losing track here. Anyway, so I just put that away, and I'm just going to throw on the Click softbox now. I love this as well. I don't ever put the Click softbox on the stand and then put the flash on the Click softbox because I don't trust. I'm like, it is a strong, decent magnet, but if that stand slides and drops, that light's hitting the ground no matter what. So I really and I do have a setup where I can put a tether to it, but if I can just connect the strobe to the stand and then if the softbox falls, I don't care. It's not going to damage it. But if that light falls, it's going to damage it. Anyway, that was the outside shoot. That was 3 different modifiers. And, just everything fits on one stand. It was great. And the Fresnel's in my pocket, obviously. Now, this, I'm using the large silver umbrella with the diffuser on front. I use the large silver umbrella with the A2 all the time, without the diffuser, and I love it. but I wanted a softer look for this. I wanted a little bit more dramatic. And this is on the edge because, it does wrap around, but because I'm using that gray backdrop and the gray backdrop's going to fall out dark, sometimes you're going to lose that one side and you're not going to have that separation with the one light. And that can be a problem. Even if you put in a reflector on the opposite side, sometimes it's just not enough. Now, inside here, none of the window light is helping at all. Like if I shot this without a flash, it would be dark. Maybe just a little hint of light, but it would initially be a dark image. So the natural light's not helping. But this, I switched over to a grid. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about. You see on her left side, she just completely falls into the backdrop. There's no separation there whatsoever. That's the only problem with using one light and wanting that dark backdrop. I use dark backdrops a lot, which requires me to use two lights 90% of the time. Now I'm using the soft bounce. This is the Profoto soft bounce, which I'm not a fan of. I have used it several times. I just don't have luck with it. I don't think it's a great modifier. It's just my opinion. But anyway, now I switched to the small, deep white umbrella. Love this umbrella. I put her a little closer so the backdrop's being a little bit more, and it works just great. And I can control the flash. And with this, remember, I can go in and out to make that light somewhat smaller or somewhat larger, but it's not like a true parabolic. Now, Profoto just put out their parabolic, but they're not calling it a parabolic. I don't know what they're calling it, but they literally had to come out and say, this isn't a true parabolic. But they're charging $2,000 for this thing, which, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's a glorified softbox for me. They're like, oh, you can focus it. Well, that's what a parabolic's for, but if you can't focus it like a parabolic, don't charge $3,000 for it. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, this one light setup is great. This is the click softbox with the grid, so I can really control where the light's going. I have it up and pointed down, so it does wrap a little bit to her left, giving me some kind of separation, but not a lot. And you can see that, it's just barely there, the separation. But it works for me because I wanted this deep, dark look. And that grid is doing the job. So I threw in that reflector down the bottom just to add in just a touch more light on that side, coming up and filling in just a little bit. And it did work. It did give me a little bit of fill, which I love. But I'm still getting the dramatic look because of the down light. It brings out muscle tone and contouring and so forth. So I love that. Now, this is the final look of the day. We went through a lot of modifiers. And this bare bulb, or big umbrella, this is a giant, this is, I think, a 72-inch umbrella with an A2 in it. And it has the power to fill this umbrella. There's no offense, but a lot of people ask me, could I get a large umbrella with this? Even with a speedlight, yes. The speedlight is off-center, though. That's the problem. And when it's off-center, it really does affect the output. With the A2 or the AD100, you can center it more, and it will fill a large umbrella, and it works. Now, this is back to bare bulb, which is my favorite, and I don't mind the shadows. I actually enjoy the shadows on this kind of photo. But then I'm going to take it off. I'm going to put it right above the camera, handhold this thing. And this is almost like a ring light look without being a ring light. And not exactly, don't come at me, but it gives me that in-your-face kind of flash, which I love. And the photos come out great. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the shoot, and thanks for watching as always.